Welcome to Carol and Gary's See America Tour.
Hello again, everyone. On Thursday, April 8th, we had an easy 90-mile drive north on Interstate 65 from Montgomery, Alabama to Birmingham, Alabama. On Friday, April 9th, with a 30% chance of rain forecast after 1 p.m., Carol, Jasper, and I decided to venture out early to find Peavine Falls. Peavine Falls is located at Oak Mountain State Park, 20 miles south of Birmingham on Double Oak Mountain. Oak Mountain State Park contains 9,940 acres, making it Alabama's largest state park. After downloading a trail map, we saw that the blue trail would take us to the top of the falls and the white trail would take us to the bottom of the falls. We decided to follow the white trail for 1.2 miles to see the falls from below. Here is Peavine Falls. Peavine Falls is a spring-fed waterfall that is approximately 65 feet tall. This is Double Oak Lake. Notice the kayakers paddling 200 feet below, enjoying the warm weather. Double Oak Lake is 3.7 miles long. On Saturday, April 10th, Carol and I visited the Civil Rights Museum in downtown Birmingham. Prior to 1963, racial segregation of public and commercial facilities throughout Jefferson County, which includes Birmingham, was legally required and rigidly enforced. Although the city's population of almost 350,000 was 60% white and 40% black, Birmingham had no black police officers, firefighters, sales clerks in department stores, bus drivers, bank tellers, or store cashiers. Black secretaries could not work for white professionals. Jobs available to black workers were limited to manual labor in Birmingham's steel mills, work in household service, yard maintenance, or work in the black neighborhoods. When layoffs were necessary, black employees were often the first to go. The unemployment rate for black people was 2.5 times higher than for white people. The average income of black employees in the city was less than half that of white employees. Significantly lower pay scales for black workers at the local steel mills was common. In the spring of 1963, activists in Birmingham launched one of the most influential campaigns of the civil rights movement. It was called the Birmingham Campaign. The Birmingham Campaign began as a series of lunch counter sit-ins, marches on City Hall, and boycotts of downtown merchants to protest segregation laws in the city. Due to the church's prominence in the black community and its central location in downtown Birmingham, the 16th Street Baptist Church served as headquarters for many of the civil rights meetings and rallies in the early 1960s. By late April 1963, with enthusiasm among adult protesters fading, a critical decision was made to enlist the help of high school students. On May 2, 1963, hundreds of black students prepared to march from the 16th Street Baptist Church to City Hall. Their involvement drew criticism from many blacks but proved to be an effective tactic. Over the next 5 days, police arrested thousands of young people, overflowing the city and county jails. The city began using police dogs and high-pressure water hoses against the protesters, resulting in some of the most iconic and troubling images of the civil rights movement. On September 15, 1963, members of the Ku Klux Klan, in support of segregation, bombed the 16th Street Baptist Church. 4 young black girls, aged 11 to 14, were killed, and 22 adults were injured. The bombing of the 16th Street Baptist Church marked a turning point in the United States during the Civil Rights Movement, leading to Congress passing the Civil Rights Act of 1964 and the Voting Rights Act of 1965. Our tour of the Civil Rights Museum was very enlightening. I would highly recommend a visit. On Tuesday, April 13th, Carol and I visited the Sloth Furnace National Landmark in Birmingham. Sloth Furnace National Landmark is a museum and educational institute whose primary mission is to preserve and promote the former Sloth Furnace site in order to educate and expose visitors to Southern and industrial history. In 1881, railroad magnate and entrepreneur James Withers Sloth capitalized on the unusual coincidence of coal, iron ore, and limestone in the area, founded the Sloth Furnace Company as an iron manufacturer, and built 2 blast furnaces adjacent to the nearby railroad tracks. Production of pig iron at Sloth Furnace began in 1882 and continued for almost 90 years. Pig iron is a crude intermediate step to making steel, but steel was never made in Birmingham. The majority of Sloth's pig iron ended up in Cincinnati, Louisville, Chicago, and Cleveland. In 1884, it cost northern plants approximately $18.30 per ton to produce pig iron, while it could be produced for $11 a ton in the South. The lower cost came from 2 sources: access to nearby raw materials and prisoner leasing. In the South, places like Sloth Furnace could take advantage of unfair labor laws to get cheap labor. The Sloth Furnace was a blast furnace, meaning a furnace that used forced air. The 3 main raw ingredients used to make pig iron are iron ore, coke, which is a gray, hard, and porous fuel with a high carbon content and few impurities, made by heating coal in the absence of air, and limestone. Iron ore, limestone, and coke were continuously fed into the top of the giant brick-lined furnace by a lift system from railroad cars below. Air was heated and then fed into the furnace from the side. Temperatures in the furnace would reach 3,800 degrees Fahrenheit. As the impurities in the iron ore burned off, molten iron would collect at the bottom of the furnace. This molten iron was drawn out from the bottom of the furnace, emptied into a ladle car, and transported to molds where the molten iron was cooled and formed into ingots like you saw earlier. Our self-guided walking tour of the Birmingham Blast Furnace was extremely interesting. Highly recommended. This completes our 18-week visit to Alabama. We will be leaving Thursday morning for Greenville, South Carolina. Alabama is the 36th state that Carol and I have visited together. If you like this video but have not yet subscribed, please do so to be notified of future videos, and as always, feel free to share with your friends. Thanks for watching.